Welcome, friends, to another exciting episode of A VGM Journey. And I'm your host, The Messenger. The track that we're playing in this week's show is Options into the Zone from the game Comix Zone, and it was composed by Howard Drossin. I think that was a really good way to start off the show, and I think we should keep it going with a request from Meatbug. They wanted me to play the track Cosmi from the game 3D Brick Bustin' Madness, and it was composed by Chris Hampton. That track that you just heard, that was Cosmi from the game 3D Brick Bustin' Madness. It was composed by Chris Hampton, and this was a request by Meatbug. So thank you, Meatbug, for that request. There's not too much that I could say about 3D Brick Bustin' Madness, other than it's a breakout slash Arkanoid type of game where you control this paddle and you hit this ball and hit the bricks slash blocks on top of the screen. But it does go for this really cool 3D style. And instead of it being a vertical 2D setup, it kind of goes for this sort of isometric, maybe behind the paddle kind of view, where the bricks are more in front of you than above you. I mean, they're still above you, but just at an angle. But I think the real highlight is the soundtrack. And there's not too many tracks, but they're all pretty lengthy, and it's a good listen. Not too distracting, but it's not forgettable either. I mean, this is some good stuff. So I just want to say, once again, thank you, Meatbug, for that track. We're going to move on to a track from Pac-Man World. The track is Level 4 HMS Windbag, and this was composed by Todd Dennis. That track that you just heard, that was Level 4 HMS Windbag from the game Pac-Man World, and it was composed by Todd Dennis. I've never played the PlayStation 1 original for Pac-Man World, but I have played the Game Boy Advance port and also the recent remake, Pac-Man World Repack, and I gotta say, it's pretty fun. I'm not super far into it. I'm actually on the second world, which is the Aztec Ruins world, but it has been a fun time. And this track is the theme for the very first boss in the game, which is a giant pirate ship that shoots cannons at you. And I really dig the parts of this track where they kind of weave some of the classic Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man songs into the track itself. Is it's kind of like that for a lot of the tracks in the game. Some of it a little more blatant, others somewhat subtle. And for such simple little jingles, they do get a lot of mileage out of it. And I really hope that Pac-Man World Repack was a success because I could really go for a Pac-Man World 2 remake or remaster. So I think that would be pretty sweet. I think we're going to move on to something really different, and I'm very excited to play this. This is coming from Prodeus. The track is Central Pulverizing Unit, and this was composed by Andrew Hulshult. That track that you just heard, that was Central Pulverizing Unit from the game Prodeus, and it was composed by Andrew Hulshult. The full release for Prodeus finally came out, and it also came out on consoles as well, and I've been playing it, and I gotta say, the game is absolutely amazing. And the Andrew Hulshult soundtrack has been really amazing too. I think the ambient parts work out, but then when things get really intense and you're shooting at a bunch of zombies and monsters, and like the music starts to really ramp up, and it's not distracting, and you just find yourself going in a flow, just mowing down all these monsters. And the game itself, it's very Doom and Quake like, with a pixely look, but it's very modern as well. If you're a fan of the first person shooter subgenre, boomer shooters, this is a game that you definitely need to check out. And it is loaded with user created content as well. So if you find yourself beating the main game, there's still a lot of things to check out. I think I should dial things back quite a bit and go with a classic Sega Genesis track. This is Hard Road from the game Super Hang-On, and it was composed by Katsuhiro Hayashi and Kouichi Namiki. That track that you just heard, that was Hard Road from the game Super Hang On. It was composed by Katsuhiro Hayashi and Kouichi Namiki. And that's going to just about do it for the show this week. If you like what you've been listening to, have your friends check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever podcasting service that you can think of. I'm more than likely going to be on there. You can email the show at vgmjourney@yahoo.com, and you could also check us out on Twitter at vgmjourney. We also have a Discord server for the show, which I will provide a link for that in the show notes, where you could hang out with your fellow VGM journeymen and talk about games, music, and even look at some cool art. We're also going to play things out with one more track, and this is the credits theme from Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc, and it was composed by Leonard, Laurent Parisi, and Plume. Have a good week, everyone.